fact checkers like Meta does?
Mr. Chair, ang partner po namin sa fact-checking is yung AFP po, yung Agence France, yung AFP po.
So only one.
Opo.
The reason why I'm asking this, Mr. Chair, unlike TikTok, Meta has collaborated with independent third-party fact checkers, which were certified by International Fact-Checking Network, IFCN. IFCN certified organizations include Verifiles, Press One, Agence France Presse, kagaya na sinabi mo, Rappler, Minda News, and ABS-CBN. Ito yung problema, Mr. Chair. Yung iba kasing mga fact checkers, mga napopoliticize eh. Kamukha ng ABS-CBN, palagi na lang akong binabanatan yan dahil sa nangyari sa hindi pagkaka-renew ng kanilang franchise back in 2020. Hanggang ngayon, hindi pa rin sila makamove on. So kung, I'm sorry, Yusek Ilagan, alam kong malaki rin ang kaugnayan mo sa ABS-CBN, but that's what the 18th Congress judgment was. On account of several violations na hanggang ngayon ayaw nilang aminin. So, kung meron kayong fact checker na hindi naman siya talagang magiging neutral and it cannot be as objective as it wants to be. Ito yung nagiging problema natin, Mr. Sana po, yung mga fact checker sana ay maging impartial, maging objective to the kind of obligation that they have professed to undertake. Tama-tama naman yung sinabi ni Ms. Mendoza, Mr. Chair. Although nakakalungkot, ay hindi pa talaga natin magagawa ang ilan sa mga bagay na binanggit niya. Pero totoo lahat, dapat ganun ang gawin natin. But as we speak, talagang ideally, hindi pa rin natin magagawa. So sa ngayon, ay aminin man natin at hindi, talagang nandyan pa rin ang mga fake news. At sana madaliin nga natin, sa dami nating nag-uusap ngayon, kung magawa nating mapadali, halimbawa, in 2 weeks time, medyo nakapag-take down tayo ng mas marami-rami, Mr. Chair. Unti-unti lang, pero pagdating ng araw siguro, napugnaw na nating lahat, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Salamat po, Senator Marcoleta. Miss Ellen Tordesillas, ma'am. Meron po kayong position paper na nais ninyong ilahad?
Submit po namin later, pero meron lang ako konti.
Ilalahad niyo po. Sige po, ilahad niyo po.
Yung organisasyon po namin, yung Verifiles, ay isang non-profit media organization founded in 2008 na nagsusulong ng kahusayan sa pamamahayag. Ang isang kategorya ng journalism na aming sinusulong ay yung fact-checking na marami na akong masabi kanina tungkol sa fact-checking. Ang problema kasi ng disinformation ay napakalawak, napakalalim at napaka-komplikado. Sinabi kanina ni Yusek Mon Ilagan na ang kailangan talaga dito sa paglaban sa disinformation ay a whole of society approach. Hindi lang nga whole nation approach, whole of society. Tama po 'yun, Simula natin sa bahay, Mahalaga kasi yung value system. Like sa mga bahay ba natin, nabibigyan ba natin ng premium ang truthfulness? Yun ang simula. Tapos sunod pa yung ating school system, yung ating sa school system ba natin, pinapairal ba natin ang critical thinking? Dapat kasi para malabanan mo yung disinformasyon, dapat alam mo dapat pag may nakita kang hindi truthful, na hindi totoo, dapat umaandar na yung yung alert system mo. So dapat malakas yung ating value system, ganon. So sa ano sa ganyan ang dapat ang ano natin, hindi lang ang battlefield lang kasi hindi lang sa ano yan hindi lang sa platform. So dapat yun yan yung ano siguro yung batas na yung tatlong batas na nakahain ngayon ay pwedeng simula yun, ganon. Sa usapang namang AI, ang ano namin sa Verafiles is that we approach it with caution. We see AI. I mean, we are not afraid that AI will render us useless. We human beings as useless, no? Especially kaming journalists. Hindi kami nagwo-worry na magiging obsolete kami with the advent of AI. We see AI as a tool that we can use to enhance our role as truth tellers. So as journalists, we at Verafiles are committed to seeking and telling the truth. We believe in accountability journalism, which is essential to a functioning democracy. Yun. Salamat po.
Salamat po sa inyong pahayag, Miss Ellen. Totoo nga po yan, lahat po ay dapat magsama-sama, ang academe, ang simbahan siguro, lahat ng sectors. Ngunit hindi rin natin talaga may tatanggi na kapag ka lumabas talaga yung fake news, mabubulaga ka talaga eh. Kahit sandali lang, mapapaniwala ka eh. Yun ang ina-avoid natin. Ang gagaling talaga eh. Isipin nyo na lang. Lalo na ngayon po, yung AI talagang hindi mo madidistingue. Magtatanong ka pa eh. Gagamit ka pa ng application kung totoo nga o hindi. Nakita nyo yung inaabutan ako ng Red Horse ni Pangulong Duterte. Siguro kung wala lang sa dihig si Pangulong Duterte, maraming naipaniwala. At saka kung makikita nila na yung jacket na yun, hindi po ako nagja-jacket ng gano'n na colorful eh. Pero sigurado ako sa 10, mayroong 3 napaniwala doon. Eh siyempre po, kahit nakukunti lang yun, huwag natin silang bibigyan ng puwang na makapanloko ng kapwa natin. Yun po yung ating gustong mangyari. Mr. Chair, binabaka natin yung lumalaganap ng mga fake news araw-araw. Sana naman ay maging madali para sa inyo na makagawa ng kaparaanan kasama ng mga ilang inimbitang mga opisina. Para sa ganun ay hindi masyadong magtagal. Pero ang sinasabi ni Missy ko kanina, palagay ko dapat natin ding pagtuunan ng pansin dahil kung ang Singapore nagawa niya yun, kamukha sa Singapore 2019 pa nagawa na nila yung POCMA. Ito yung Protection from Online Falsehood and Manipulation Act. Pagkatapos nun ay nakagawa pa siya ng Anti-Fake News Law in 2018. Kung nagawa ng Singapore, baka naman yung best practices nila ay hindi man lahat na makuha natin. Halimbawa, 10 yung mga mekanismong nakalatag doon sa mga batas na kanilang ginawa. Yung unang 3 ay makuha man lang natin. Huwag na tayong masyadong magpakabida na makukopya natin kagad. Bagamat ang Pilipino ay mahilig mangopya. Pero naging realistic tayo. Kung nagawa ng Singapore, ba't hindi natin pwedeng gawin? Pare-pareho naman siguro yung level ng technology. Sa ngayon, baka ang ating po kasing pinoproblema yung paglaganap at yung pagbaka sa kanila ay parang parang helpless po tayo eh. Ang bilis po nilang mag-upload ng mga fake news. Katulad po na binabanggit ko kanina yung Gutesa, talagang pinagtiyagaan po namin na kami na yung humanap do sa tao. At nung makita namin, sinabi namin sa kanya na hindi ka rin makakaalpas, yung mahabang kamay ng batas, hahabulin ka rin namin. At dahil doon, tinanggal niya po. Alam po ninyo, pag nakikita nyo, pag tinignan po niya yung account niya, mapapansin nyo, troll po ang ginamit niya kasi puro Vietnamese at mga Arabo po yung yung nandoon eh. Nag-share po lahat, puro Arabic at saka Vietnamese. Sana, kukunti po yung Pilipino eh. Kaya po yung mga fact-checker natin, kung madali, ang dali naman po checkin yun eh. Hindi ko naman po sinasabing lahat po checkin ninyo. Pero kung kayo po ay tumanggap naman ng responsibilidad na maging fact-checker kayo, hindi naman po namin inahangad na lahat po ay ma-fact-check ninyo. Ngunit, kahit na po siguro yung mga unang communicate sa inyo sa pamagitan ng email. Sana po unahin din ninyo sapagkat kaya naman kami nakikipag-coordinate. Gusto po naming makatulong din sa ikasusog po ng lumalaganap na fake news na nakakapag-mislead po sa ating mga kababayan. Importante po na hindi ma-mislead ang ating mga kababayan kahit sa anong paraan, Mr. Chair.
Salamat po, Senator Marcoleta. Okay na po ang inyong position paper? Pwede na po kayong magsabi?
Yes, Your
Ano,
Honor.
yung
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you very much, Senator Marcoleta, for that suggestion po. We'll take that into consideration. Maraming salamat po. Now, just to give the position paper of the PCO, so allow me to read in behalf of my acting secretary, Dave Gomez. Mr. Chair, Senator Robin Padilla, distinguished members of the Senate Committee on Public Information and Mass Media, fellow resource persons, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of the Presidential Communications Office, I thank the committee for inviting us to this public hearing on Senate Bills 191, 1441, and 1490. These measures seek to confront the growing menace of fake news and disinformation in our country. All of us witness this information every single day. We have seen how fabricated stories, deepfakes, and fake news can distort public discourse, incite violence, damage reputations, and even hamper government response during calamities and public health emergencies. The damage to institutions and to people's lives is real and escalating. The PCO welcomes the intent behind these bills to protect the Filipino people from deliberate deception while preserving the constitutional guarantee of freedom of expression and of the press. The PCO supports a whole-of-nation approach that combines clear legislation, responsible platform governance, digital literacy, and independent and responsible journalism. The PCO stands ready to work with this committee and all stakeholders to refine these proposals into laws that are effective, proportionate, and fully compliant with our Constitution. We have earlier submitted the PCO's position paper on these bills for the committee's consideration. With the Chair's permission, I would like to highlight and put on record some key points in the PCO's position paper. First, the PCO supports a balanced and holistic approach in addressing fake news, disinformation, and misinformation. The freedom of speech is paramount, but it is neither absolute nor a license that gives immunity to those abuse or misuse it. Legislation must balance penalizing malicious and deliberate dissemination of fake news with legitimate speech, journalistic commentary, satire, dissent, or error made in good faith. As such, it must clearly and narrowly define fake news and disinformation and establish clear evidentiary thresholds. And as the Supreme Court has time and again emphasized, it must not constitute prior restraint. Legislation must also balance punitive measures with constructive measure. While penalties are vital and necessary in curbing abuse and misuse of freedom of expression, public education, media information literacy, transparency, and platform responsibility should form part of a comprehensive long-term solutions. The creation of a Digital Media Integrity Council is also proposed with representation from government and private sector can serve not only as a strong literacy arm but a fact-checking organization. The PCO fully supports Senate Bill 1490 as it strengthens the public trust and promotes ethical digital governance. To address concerns raised by watchdogs, the Senate may consider prohibiting the creation or funding of troll operations and establishing accountability mechanisms for misuse. The law must also clearly distinguish illicit troll operations from legitimate digital engagement by government agencies. This will ensure that government communication is factual and transparent. In conclusion, Mr. Chair, the fight against fake news and disinformation is essential to building a resilient and united Philippines. The PCO stands ready to collaborate with Congress, stakeholders, and these measures. The Philippines can lead in the region as a model for responsible digital governance where truth prevails over deception and citizens' rights to free speech and information are ensured and safeguarded. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Maraming salamat po. Na-miss kita tuloy sa news. Sir, may
Thank you,
tanong lang
Mr.
po ako. Doon po sa council na sinasabi ninyo, meron na po kayong idea kung sino yung bubuo?
Yes, of course, dun sa proposal, Mr. Chair, so we have critical government agencies plus the private sector. The private sector, it also includes the Kapisanan ng Broadcasters ng Pilipinas, the KBP, the Philippine Press Institute, the PRSP, or Public Relations Society of the Philippines, the NPC, the National Press Club, etc. So with government funding plus private sector donations, para ho talagang masasabi po natin whole of society approach po with this.
Ito po ay commission na ito ay under PICO? Under saan niyo po gusto to?
Pwede pong under na rin sa PCO, but of course with collaboration ng private sector groups. So the main purpose of this is, number one, to conduct the literacy campaigns, digital literacy campaigns, Your Honor. And secondly, the fact-checking to combat fake news. Third is develop AI for social media fact-checking and develop alert mechanism when fake news is detected. So those are the possible functions that we have thought about this creation of the Digital Media Integrity Council. Your Honor.
Mr. Chair.
Sige po, Senator Marcoleta.
Mr. Chair, kailan po kaya magkakaroon ng katuparan ito, Yusek Ilagan? Kasi tingnan po ninyo, 55% ng ating mamamayan po ay naniniwala that the problem of fake news on the internet and social media such as Facebook,
Right.
sa Twitter at saka YouTube was serious. 55% po yan. 62% thought that fake news in traditional media, television, radio, and newspapers was serious. 65% find it difficult to determine if news or piece of information they had watched, heard or read on TV, radio, and social media was fake or wrong. 55% claimed that they frequently saw or encountered fake news in both traditional and social media. So, Mr. Chair, how can we really protect 65% of our kababayan from being purveyors of fake news? 65% po ito. Hindi po niya kaagad makilala o malaman kung peke o hindi. Ito po yung sinasabi natin na nami-mislead po talaga. Hindi lang po sana mo kung 10% lang o 5%. Hindi po natin sinasabi na kung 5% medyo safe na tayo. Pero ito po 65% po eh. Hindi niya ma-distinguish kaagad. Talagang magagaling din po talaga yung nagpapakalat ng fake news. Kaya ang tanong po palagi, kailan po kaya magkakaroon ng katuparan? Dahil kahit ngayon pong nag-uusap tayo, kumakalat pa rin po ang fake news, Mr. Chair.
Napakagandang mungkahi po. Meron lang po akong suggestion kasi kung aantayin po natin yung batas, matagal pa po ito. Hindi po kaya pwede i-request sa ating Pangulo na gumawa na lang siya ng executive order para dyan sa council na yan?
That's a good suggestion, Mr. Chair. So, ang ating po naman talagang Pangulo is really very serious. Ano? In fact, gusto niya mga mechanisms po talaga na magawa para labanan ng fake news. And also, I believe...
Teka muna, Yusek, bago mo sagutin niya sa pangalan ng Pangulo, baka mapagalitan ka niya, no? Meron po kasi tayong mga legal framework ngayon. Ang tanong po siguro ganito, no? At present kasi, Mr. Chair, paano natin ini-implement yung existing mechanism natin on fake news? Meron po tayong Republic Act 10951. In particular, Article 154 of the unlawful use of means of publication and unlawful utterances. Yung Article 355 o libel by means of writing or similar means. Yung Republic Act 10175 or Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. Meron po section dyan na sinasabi on cyber libel and computer identity theft. At meron po tayong Republic Act 10173. Ito po yung Data Privacy Act of 2012. Lahat po ng ito nagpe-penalize ng unauthorized processing or disclosure of personal data. In 2020, meron pa tayong 11469 or Bayanihan to Heal as one act included a provision penalizing creation and spreading of fake news about COVID-19. Ang tanong po kasi, Mr. Chair, paano tayo mag-guide? Ano po ba yung missing? Ano pa yung wala dito sa binanggit nating mga existing na batas, mekanismo at regulation para ngayon ay maging effective na ma-address po natin ang paglaganap ng fake news. Dapat yung missing link makuha na po natin. Meron na po tayo eh. Kaya lang, nandyan pa rin po eh. Sa ngayon, hindi po natin mapagbabatayan ng meta sapagkat kahit may jurisdiction tayo, sabi ng DOJ, parang tali ang kamay natin. So kailangan natin siguro pagsikapan sa magitan ng batas nating nandito ngayon. Hanapin na lang natin, ano ba yung kakulangan pa nitong existidong batas na ito na pagsama-samahan po nating hanapin, i-connect natin. At kung kinakailangan ng executive order na gusto mong request sa ating Pangulo, bago yon sana, tingnan muna natin ano yung missing link dito, Mr. Chair.
Tama po, Senator Marcoleta. Napakagandang mungkahi po niyan. At yan din po yung pinagtalunan namin ni Miss Michiko na ano nga ba yung missing link. Ang amin pong napag-usapan talaga, dapat talaga isang tao, isang account, personal, tapos yung isa, business account niya para hindi po siya nakakagawa ng maraming milagro. Opo. Okay na po. Senator, Attorney Annalyn Taggiling ng National. Ako, ma'am, ikaw pala yun, ha? Yung NTC. Ikaw ang merong, pwede po bang bago kayo, buti na lang, naging babae kasi bala kong awayin talaga to. Opo, ano po ba ang mandato? Yan na lang para mabait ako. Ano po ba ang mandato ng NPC? Bakit parang kulang po yata ang ng ipin ang NPC, ma'am? Kayo po ba'y taga Baguio? O kailian ko pa ito.
Yes.
Sige po, mag-opposition paper na lang po.
Please allow me to read the executive summary of our position paper. To the Honorable Committee, the National Privacy Commission recognizes the urgent need to address the massive and harmful effects of false and deceptive news or content online. Thus, the need to enact or amend existing laws to specifically respond to the dangers posed by the irresponsible and unlawful use of the Internet. The NPC consistently affirms that privacy, freedom of expression, and public order are not mutually exclusive and are all constitutionally protected interests. Measures that promote social media fairness and algorithmic transparency regulate automated decision-making that could harm people's freedom to choose, result in unfair treatment, or render consent meaningless. The NPC recognizes the intent of these proposed measures, which is mainly to protect the public from misleading and harmful online content, while remaining fully cognizant of constitutionally protected freedoms. The proposed mechanisms such as rectification, takedown, and access blocking orders underscore the importance of prompt and proportionate response to digital harm, provided that these measures will be implemented with due process, clear procedures and standards, and full respect for privacy rights. The NPC emphasizes that the Data Privacy Act remains applicable in the implementation of this proposed act, especially if it involves personal data of individuals. As such, interagency coordination will be essential to ensure that enforcement actions address harmful content without resulting in unnecessary or excessive intrusion into personal data of individuals. The NPC further notes that the Data Privacy Act prescribes corresponding criminal penalties on top of other crimes under existing laws for any unauthorized processing of personal data of individuals. The DPA, Data Privacy Act, regulates the processing of personal data of individuals. However, it does not generally regulate opinion or speech that have no personal data component. But much fake news or false content online involves use of people's name, images, contact details, health, or other personal data. Thus, the need to comply with the requirements under the Data Privacy Act in processing or handling this personal data.